I cannot express how happy I am that I finally started the podcast, started my journey, started my change I was talking about in the first episode. The first one was probably including a bunch of mistakes. I recorded it 10 times. I got a feedback. I fixed some stuff. I believe there was no enough energy in that one. It's a bit awkward to record yourself. I believe this one and the future one is going to be much better. So please listen up and let's get started. Welcome everyone to Uncover Leadership, a podcast about how to become an excellent leader. My mission is to give you some tips and advice to help you in your own journey. They will be based on my learning, research, books, and of course, experience. Let's listen up to this episode. In this episode, I want to talk about trust. I believe that trust is an essential element of every great team. And to be honest, I prepare text for the episode just like I prepared it for the first one, but trust is such a broad topic and such an important topic. I'm just gonna go through my notes and try to speak about it without them. I think, the trust in a team is as important as trust with your friends, as trust in a family. But I don't think that co-workers need to be friends, right? We work together. You can say, that there are companies that are going to call themselves families, but that's not the reality. They're not family. We're just working together, but we're going to be like friends because we spend a lot of time together, right? Regular day job, it's 8 hours. A lot of us work, we spend extra hours. We meet with each other, special events. So there's this element of us that wanted to make sure that we can collaborate, we can coexist. When there is no trust, where there is lack of trust, the team tends to divert from the right path. If you're gonna get someone that's not trusting everyone else on a team, they will hide stuff. They will be afraid to tell you when they're not right, where they're not feeling well, where they don't understand something. How many times you encounter a situation where you join an organization or a team and they start dropping acronyms right and left? And you not necessarily need to understand them, right? When there are acronyms like across all kind of businesses, like ASAP, ETA, PTO, there are acronyms that are used by everyone and most of us understand them. But if they are specific for some organization or they're specific for a application, we not necessarily need to understand them. And there are ways that we can basically research them. But why, right? Sometimes when you're joining in, when you're new, you should not be afraid just to ask a question. Guys, what you talking about? But people tend to avoid it. People don't want to ask questions. They don't want to sound that they're unprepared or they don't know something. We just don't trust each other at that point because we're new. Or even worse, right? You're longer with the organization, you switch teams and they start talking using different language that you used to. And what you're gonna say, I'm working here 2-3 years and I'm not understanding some kind of acronym. So we wanna make sure that there is basic trust, that we can ask questions, not to be point fingers, not gonna be blamed by anyone. And same thing is when you are late, because situation happen, right? You might get really complex tasks that for someone that assigned the task to you, it might be something they understand. And for you, that might be new item. It might take longer. There might be some different circumstances for you to get it done. And in a lot of cases, people just stay quiet. And it's very problematic, especially for the agile teams where as a team, you meet together every day. Scrum Master gonna ask 3 magic questions, and one of them, are you on track? Do you have any impediments? If you're not on track, just speak up, especially within that team. I do believe that agile teams should be based on trust, and that's how I always build them. It's not gonna happen overnight, though, right? It's not possible to just get a group of people and magically on the first day they're gonna coexist and work each other. They're gonna trust each other. They're going to be super excellent, right? That's why we have 4 or right now 5 stages of a team: forming, storming, where the people actually, know each other and you have a lot of conflicts in the team. Then comes norming, when the people already know each other and then actually can go together in one direction. And the next stage is performing. So when the team's actually going to be working with that excellence, and unfortunately, in a lot of companies, we're going to have a journey when we finish the project and people are let go. You might get different roles at the organization. Depending right on your journey, you might be just individual contributor. So I'm going to talk about the developer, right? You're a junior developer, you're joining in. Your main focus are your tasks. You're not having a problem with anything, but as you learn more, as you grew, you might become more senior, you might become a tech lead. And that's when you know that leadership components kick in. And you need to make sure that people trust you as well, right? That's the one thing. If you want to build a great teams based on trust, you need to be trustworthy. So either way, if you're a tech lead, if you are a project manager, if you're a scrum master, if you are a release train engineer, or most important, right, where you are actually a manager and you have people reporting to you, or you're a director or any kind of other senior leader, trust is essential, right? And some levels like project manager, you're focused on deliverables, right? You have a project. It's less about people, but it's essential for you to be above the Gantt charts and plans and list of tasks. You need to remember about people component. For Scrum Masters and release train engineers, it's a little bit more tricky because a lot of companies gonna recognize you basically with the project manager title, where in fact it's not necessarily the case, right? If you went through the training for Scrum Master, you know you are servant leader. You help the teams resolve the issue, impediments, you get them together, right? You are that glue that's going to stick people together and try to create the trust. You are actually a leader. And then when you're a release train engineer, right, if the company is supporting, working with SAFe framework, you're going to get multiple teams, right? You're going to get 5 teams, and that may be, even 50 people. You can get up to 140 people. Think about it, right? You're a leader without the title, and you still need to make sure that the teams that work in your train, right? If you're in your agile release train, trust each other, that you build trust, that you're focused to be an example for your Scrum Masters to do the same. Then, when you are a manager, you have that formal authority. You need to be trustworthy, and you're going to get people reporting to you. So make sure that you're leading with trust, that you build this connection with people reporting to you. And if they work with the other people downstream, then make sure that they're doing the same, right? You need to show them the best example possible in order to build that excellence in an organization, in a company, and be able to fulfill the mission, right? Because that should be the goal, that should be in your mind as a leader. You want to achieve the company why, you want to achieve the company goals. You need to understand them, and you need to be able to show them to your people. And without trust, they might not be able to listen to you. And the same on any other level. But like I mentioned, right, to build trust, you need to lead with the example, and you keep your word that you're trying to help your people. You are not executing anymore at some levels, but you're leading them. You're trying to support them when they need help, and you need to make sure that they trust you enough to come to you with the question when they're looking for advice, or even when they just want to tell you what they're going to do, right? Because that's the case. You are a leader. You don't want to tell people what to do. You want them to come to you to tell what they're going to do with the problem, with the risk, how they're going to avoid it. And if you can feel, or you're going to know it's totally wrong direction, then you can step in and you can correct them. If you think that, and that's very powerful, if you think that they're not right, but it's not going to create a huge impact for the main goal for the company, it's great to allow them fail, or how otherwise they're going to learn, right? So you trust them enough to fail and find a better solution, learn from their mistake. That's very powerful. And if you got the people that trust you and you show them that respect and support, they're gonna follow you anywhere. Now, I do believe that if you're listening to this podcast, I think you want to lead. So you want to make sure that you lead that example. So put it for yourself, right, as a main goal for the near future. If you're not building that trust in others yet, let that be your goal. Just build trust. regardless, like if you're not in a leadership role yet, but you have a desire to do it, if you're just an individual contributor, make sure that people trust you, that you're trustworthy. Not only that you're going to spend extra hours, but if you say something, go ahead and do it. Make sure that your actions going to reflect your words. And take a moment. Just take a moment, observe your teams, observe people you're working with. Are they trusting each other? Are they collaborating? Are they honest with each other? Because you can see it, like we can see when people are struggling. Sometimes that may mean even, just asking a question to build trust, like how are you feeling? If everything's going on. Try to show the interest to people, but not fake interest, like not, hi, how are you? But actually, how are you feeling? Did you spend the weekend nice? Like, how are your kids? Remember, like if someone has kids and they told it to you, remember it. I have a huge problem remembering names. I used to, when we didn't get the cell phones that remember the numbers, I could remember someone's home number. I couldn't remember their name. And it's like kryptonite for me. So what I'm doing, I'm basically trying to put their names in paper, and it's helped me. Hand to mind connection. I actually care. It's not like I want to remember it just to show off. I actually care when I'm working with someone, because they're the people that help me and the company move forward. If they're successful, I am successful as well. Just do it, right? Make sure that you remember that trust is not just something nice to have. That's actual core for every great team. I'm going to bring trust a lot in a future episode. If trust is not there, we're not going to be able to move forward. And I can recommend a really great book about it if you're going to look for the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. I hope I got the name right. He writes about trust as a core dysfunction of a team. And he called that this dysfunction is called lack of trust. Without trust, you're not going to be able to build a great team. You're not going to be able to move forward. You're not going to be able to execute, and you're not going to be able to achieve the company goals or your goals or team goals. You're just going to be stuck. So remember about that. And I really, really hope that you enjoyed this episode. So please like it if the platform allow it. Follow me to listen for next episodes. And I hope that you're going to listen to me next time. Thank you very much.